All right, welcome to the Brian Hornback Experience. This is episode 110, and I've got a state senator from Middle Tennessee, and we're going to talk about another constitutional amendment, and this is about constitutional amendment number 4. First, I want to welcome Senator Mark Pody. How are you tonight, Senator?
I am doing absolutely awesome. God is so good. It's great to be alive in Tennessee.
Absolutely. So, just so the folks that follow brianhornback.com and this Brian Hornback Experience podcast, I'm going to introduce you a little bit, and if I get something wrong, correct me, but you and your wife, Barbara, have been married for almost 50 years, 47 years, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually 49 years and 4 months.
Wow, 49 years and 4 months. That's fantastic. You moved to Wilson County about 4 decades ago, and y'all have raised your 2 daughters, and you got 12 grandchildren. They all still live in Wilson County. That's amazing.
Yes, sir. They're all close, so we get to see them often.
That's great. You've got a small business which specializes in financial planning and insurance solutions. And I think at one time you had a location here in Knoxville. Do you still have an insurance financial planning office in Knoxville?
I do. I'm over on Clinton Highway.
All right.
And so I'm over in Knoxville, quite often. In fact, I'll be coming over there in about 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Well, you're also very active in the community. You're a member of the Gideon. You're a member of the Wilson County Chamber of Commerce, the Wilson County Lions Club, the DeKalb County Chamber of Commerce, the Cannon County Chamber of Commerce. You're a pilot. I guess that helps to get around the state, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and I enjoy. In fact, I'm with something called the Sadler Foundation, and we're trying to help our youth get back into flying. There's so many careers available in aviation right now, and there's really good paying careers as well.
That's great. But and also you remember the Rotary. But basically, Mark Pody has he's kind of become the guy in the Tennessee legislature that, because of his biblical values and his family focus, along with obviously your economic issues, you've served the citizens of the 56th district for how long now?
Well, and it's actually the 17th Senate district that I've been.
My bad. Yeah, because okay. So how long have you served in the Senate now?
Now, I've been there a total of 4 years.
Okay.
And I was in the House for 8 years before that.
Right. So you had 8 years in the House, now 4 years in the Senate. Are you on the ballot this year?
I am.
Good.
Up for re-election this year.
Fantastic. Well, now that we've got all that out of the way, I do want to get to what we're going to talk about, which is Constitutional Amendment 4. And it's, to me, and I guess to you and to most people, it should be pretty simple. Apparently in the Constitution, they said that members of the clergy or members of or people that lead a religious organization could not serve in the legislature. But then the Supreme Court said, "Yep, guys, you can't do that." And so we've just not actually put it in the Constitution, and it takes a couple of legislative sessions in order to do it. So you teamed up with Kelsey, White, and Rose in one session, and some folks in the House, and now the people of Tennessee can correct that verbiage. Have you got any idea, before I kind of let you loose, why did they? You have any historical knowledge of why our founders of the state didn't believe that people of the clergy should be in the legislature?
Yes, and they worded it pretty clear in the definition. They said, whereas the ministers of the gospel are by their profession dedicated to God and the care of souls. And I'm reading directly from the Constitution, and it says they ought not be diverted from the great duties of their functions. Therefore, no minister of the gospel or priest of any denomination, whatever, will be eligible to seat in either the house of the legislature. And they had put pastors and ministers on a pedestal, and they said, we just want to keep you focused on what you're doing there. Now, the Supreme Court in the 1970s said that's unconstitutional, and we have never cleaned that language up, and that's what we're doing today, is just cleaning up that language.
Because we've got some individuals, who I think we all who are believers recognize that all of us are ministers to some form or fashion. But now that you've read that from what they had written in the Constitution, it makes perfect sense. But it's good that we could kind of clear that up, because I'd kind of like to see if we could have a prohibition for lawyers serving in the legislature. I say that tongue in cheek, but it's certainly. It's very, Constitutional Amendment number 4 is very straightforward. We're just cleaning it up so that individuals can comply with what the Supreme Court said. So now that we've cleared that up, what's going on in the 17th Senatorial District, and what's on Mark Pody's agenda for the next 4 years as the state senator for State Senate District 17?
Absolutely. So there's a few things going on that we're going to be focused on. One of them is I want to make sure that we had the Roe v. Wade case. So, abortion has actually been illegal here in Tennessee for a couple of months now, and I know that that's going to be under siege in the legislature coming up. So we want to make sure we stand strong with that. And if there's anything that we got to tighten up on that language, we want to be thoughtful in doing that. Something else that we're looking at is giving patients what we would call patients' Bill of Rights. So when you go to a hospital, and we've seen some things happen over the last couple of years with a pandemic, where hospitals would not let their loved ones come in and would actually follow protocol based on government rather than the protocol based on what the patients would like. And we want to make sure that patients are in charge of their own medical decisions. It's not based on what government thinks it's right. It's going to be based on what that patient thinks is right for them. We need to be very clear that hospitals are not the ones making decisions. Doctors are not the ones making the decision. The decision for our health is actually our decision. You can't get more personal than that.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing is we want to make sure that parents, as they're going into schools and such, these kids are given as a gift to parents. They're not given to government. They're not government kids. These are kids for parents, and we want to make sure that line is clearly drawn, and that parents know that government and public schools can't dictate what they can do and not do. I mean, there's certain things that it is up to the parent to make those decisions and not up to government.
Absolutely. I know you've been traveling a little bit, especially around Middle Tennessee, and helping some of the Republican senatorial candidates and the other Republican candidates. And folks need to follow Mark Pody on Facebook. It's Mark Pody, TN, MarkPodyTN, Mark Pody, TN on Facebook. You're really active in posting videos and supporting the other Republican candidates. So you got any predictions for any other races over there in Middle Tennessee? Are we? I mean, I know we as a Republican Party in Tennessee are going to be able to hold the red wave. But are we going to pick up any more seats, either in the higher chamber, in the Senate, or in the House? You think in November?
I think we're going to hold our own in the Senate. I don't think we're going to lose anything. I don't think we're really going to pick up any extra seats. I think we're going to be pretty much where we were. And in the House, there's a good shot we might pick up a seat or two. So there's a couple seats here in Davidson County that might be in play that had been Democrat before, so we believe we might be able to pick one of those up. And then, of course, the congressional-wise, we believe that Andy Ogles will be able to pick up that seat that was held by Jim Cooper. That's going to leave just one Democrat in the congressional delegation, and the rest will be Republican. So that's a pretty major swing for our state to say that we're going to be only having one Democrat going to Washington, D.C. We'll have two Republican senators, and the rest will be Republican representatives in Congress, except for one.
Now, Andy Ogles' opponent, she's a current member of the state Senate. She's not up this year, right? So
that's correct.
So she'll be back. She'll be back when she loses the congressional seat. So My colleague from the state executive committee, Michelle Foreman, is she looking pretty good over there in Davidson County?
Yes, it is a very close race. And, if anybody can help her, that would be awesome. She is, that is the seat that I was saying that we're hoping to pick up in Davis County. It is literally her seat that we're hoping that we can pick up.
Very good, very good. Well, Senator Pody, I appreciate you being here on the Brian Hornback Experience and explaining Constitutional Amendment 4. I appreciate you having the wherewithal to carry that legislation for two sessions of the legislature, because it takes that in order to get the constitutional amendment on the ballot. And I appreciate you having the wherewithal to do that, helping clean up the language. And I certainly encourage my friends to vote yes on 4. And we appreciate your efforts. And anytime that I can help you over here in Knoxville and East Tennessee get the word out, brianhornback.com, and this Brian Hornback Experience podcast is willing to be a service to you, Senator Pody. So I appreciate you being here tonight.
And Brian, I appreciate the work that you do to get the conservative message out to so many of the terrific listeners, not only in Knoxville, but across the whole state.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Bye-bye.